Welcome to my channel, and in this video I want to share with you my progress in Symphony of Cute Animals by K.Egusa. Of course, now we have the newest book by Kanoka, The Leon's Journey, and when you have the new book, there is always a huge temptation to switch to the new one, because it's always very inspiring, very interesting. But I gave myself a solemn oath to continue coloring in Manuel de Bonheur and in Symphony. So far, I managed to keep my promise. In Symphony, surprisingly, I have a lot of finished pictures in the beginning of the book and in the end. I think that it means that I need to spend more time with this book in summer, because that's summer pictures which I still have to color here. In this book I mostly color with Prismacolor pencils. Even with Prismacolors I still struggle with paper. Paper is different from Manuet, but Prismacolors, for me, they still are better choice. I tried polychromoses. I also tried different media like watercolor and water-soluble pencils here, and still Prismacolors gave me the better blending and more control of work on this paper. The left page is completely Prismacolors. The right page, its background done with Kohinoor Mondeluz water-soluble pencils, and the rest it's Prismacolors. It's a mix of polychromoses and Prismacolors. Here Prismacolors. It's one of my favorite finished pictures. I'm very proud of everything here, starting from the young fox to those very vibrant, extremely vibrant flowers, and the background. I also think that forest looks very lovely. Here I continued my experiments with the background. On the right side it's similar to gouache watercolor paint, which had white pigment, so it looked more opaque rather than regular watercolor, and on top I tried to add some splashes to make it less monotonous. On the left side it's Arctic's acrylic marker, and both backgrounds, they didn't make me very happy. Yes, they have nice color, but how both medium worked on this paper, well, definitely not my favorites. Here completely Prismacolors. Here I did background using Arctic's pencil. Arctic's, you can use it here mostly for backgrounds when you don't need complicated layering, because they feel even more waxy than usual, but they are vibrant in color, they are soft, so to cover the background with 1 or 2 layers it's okay. To do more delicate work with many layers, well, not on this paper. Here it was a spread where I practiced how to color nice poppies. It's my page of shame. I already demonstrated it many times, because this watercolor underpaint I did in March of last year. Why I hadn't finished it, I don't know, because beginning was good. It was exactly what I needed, very light basic colors, and I planned to work on top of it with polychromoses, because I have heard very good opinions that if you do the first layer with watercolor, then on this paper you can work on top with polychromoses. Maybe it will be my task for May to finish this one, because it's lovely, so no explanation at all why I hadn't finished it. It's another one of my favorite pictures finished in this book. Very lovely shelves, so many interesting details, and you know that I love to color textures like wood or glass or china or linen like we have here. That was the page where I surprisingly didn't struggle with blending and layering Prismacolors at all, so somehow it was one of the easiest pages in the whole book. And that's where I probably realized that, well, if I color with more patience, maybe more slowly layering Prismacolors, I can actually work with them on this paper. The left side, it was a big difference. I used, I think that some budget pencils to start the background. They didn't blend very well. It looked slightly dirty, but I was so in love with this frog that still I tried to save background, and I managed to cover the most unpleasant stains using a little bit of distress inks. So now I have this completed spread. And that's another one where I started the background. I think that I use something budget like Castle Art pastel tint, and I suffered so much with them. They didn't give color, and I wasn't very happy in the end with colors which I selected. So it's also is abandoned, I think that for almost a year. It's a spring page. I wanted to do it last spring, but still I lost inspiration. It's easy probably to cover it even with a light layer of watercolor to make it simply blue. Design itself is very detailed, so I don't think that we need very complicated background, very colorful. Maybe one day I will decide to redo it, but for now I have enough of pictures which I still want to do. Actually, I want to color all pages in this book. That was a page where I started with polychromoses, with the background and some of the elements, and then my arm and hand hurted so much they didn't blend at all, so I said myself enough with experiments, enough with polychromoses. I also had a bad luck with polychromoses in Menuet and here also. A little bit better comparing to Menuet, but still not the best choice. Actually, I used polychromoses here on top of watercolor background. I decided to do here a totally fantasy forest, so my background has such unusual colors, because I already did forest with green or blue background many times. So I decided that it's time for a little bit of experiments. And on top of watercolor, I added then some color accents and contrasts using polychromoses. The left side I also love, and the only thing that maybe I made a mistake trying to match backgrounds. Here I had watercolor background, here I wanted to show how it's possible to get similar color, but with Prismacolors if you don't want to use paints. And in such way suffered the left side. Probably on blue background, all those umbrellas, they would look more logical, and animals also would look better on blue background. But again, sometimes it's nice to use something different for the background, because majority of my pictures, they have blue or green backgrounds. That's my chameleons, and here surprisingly I did relatively good pencil background. I think that here I also used mix of polychromoses and Prismacolors, and nothing worked very well. I wasn't able to get very smooth color gradients on the leaves. Flowers and birds were much more lucky comparing to the leaves. That was one of my first pictures in the whole book. And my summer spread. As I said, I don't have many summer pictures, but this one I really love. I am proud of it. Many elements here I colored for the first time, like those glasses with eyes or pineapple pieces or ice cream. So I think that I managed to do it pretty good. That was my first page which I did in the whole book, and where I realized that no, you can't expect from this page, from this paper to behave exactly like paper in Menuet. I used quite close colors like sand, yellow, ochre, and then I wanted to shade it on top of it with light brown color, and it created such a dirt. Normally you can use light brown on top of ochre and to create a gradient, but not in such case. Pencils started to glide over the surface of paper. It was already quite burnished paper surface, and that's where my struggle started. A very lovely Halloween page. I absolutely love it. I love how I did the brickwork here. Interesting, not very vibrant, because all attention I wanted for the mice and for pumpkins, but at the same time the wall and bricks, they don't look boring. And of course I love to color various magical bottles and potions. I wanted to color the spread for this Halloween, but I realized that if I want to do it in time for Halloween, I probably need to start in August. Here we start the last fall season picture. Here I am very happy with the contrast of ultramarine background and warm colors for the oak leaves and colors which I selected for fur. Very lovely. Here starts the part of winter pictures. The whole background here is made with Prismacolor pencils. I do love this gradient which I made with with black grape and other dark Prismacolor pencils, but it constantly is covered by this white waxy layer. I need to delete it from time to time so it looks vibrant again. Another strange behavior of this paper. I think that I love my winter part in this book the most. At least there is the biggest amount of pictures which I am proud of, like the spread which I did with Arctics. I wanted to save my precious Prismacolors, so I had to do the whole background with Arctics. I spent probably 2 times longer comparing to what I can achieve with Prismacolors, but I realized that even with Arctics you can color here, if you have enough patience. That's totally made with Prismacolors and of course with a lot of white gouache paint. Very lovely, yummy colors for all the sweets, and I do love this ribbon Christmas trees. Here starts another spring part of the book with several recently finished pictures. For example, this one with interesting teacups with spring flowers and cute animals. Background again isn't my strong thing, so I simply used pastel shades of Prismacolors to surround my teacups a little bit. But I enjoyed coloring all flowers, berries. I'm always divided between my desire to mask all black lines and desire to leave them, because line art in K.Egusa books is quite delicate, and sometimes when you put white or other color on top of the lines, it even seems quite rough. So in several areas I masked lines, but mostly I left them. Another pages, you can notice that I prefer to color in spreads, even if 2 pages are totally not united, they are totally different pictures. I love to have finished spreads, and I love to copy at least some colors from one page to another. Here we have again a lot of spring flowers, and it was done with some chestnut, mahogany, henna colors, the same colors then later I used for this, maybe swan, maybe peacock, probably swan. Of course, here we have selection of buttons, beads, cameo brooches, and you know that I love to color gemstones. I love to practice coloring metals. So I decided that I need a limited color palette, and it will be a good practice for me how to color such beautiful things. So it's another work which I really love. It's almost close to what I imagined. In the beginning I thought that maybe I will add more lace, like I added on the head, on the bird. But then I realized that I can only mess up. I love the central image, but I don't have enough skills to draw beautiful lace. Maybe next time, after I practice a little bit. And finally, page where the background on the right I did again with budget pencils. Again, it was Castle Art pastel tints, because their shades, they are really lovely, but on this paper they feel dry and waxy, not the best experience. But I did first layer using them, and then I grabbed lilac and blue colors of Prismacolor, and I helped to blend a little bit with softer pencils. My favorite area here is those flowers, two varieties of them in right bottom corner. Here I did a big mistake to color the main image first and then to add the background. Usually I prefer to start from the background. I only do vice versa if I have no idea at all what kind of background I want to do. So here I did lovely flowers. I love how I distributed pastel and vibrant colors in this dress. I did interesting robin blue eggs here. And then somehow it was a stupid moment to select this turquoise watercolor. It's slightly unpredictable. On different paper it can look less vibrant. On this paper it created some more rough stains, and it totally messed up with the color of eggs. It's a lovely color, but I think that different hue, maybe even more lilac color, would create better contrast, or maybe peach color would be better choice. So that's why I don't love to leave background until the next step. You can mess up very lovely page when it's almost completed. One wrong step, one wrong choice of color, and you are not so happy with the page as you was in the very beginning. But apart from it, I'm very happy with my current progress. I definitely don't want to stop. Of course, I will color Leon's journey, but I still want to continue my progress with Symphony and with Menuet. Currently, Rhapsody is my least favorite book by K.Egusa because it has some duplicate images and very thick black lines, but because of good paper there, I definitely will color also something in Rhapsody. I hope that maybe during next 6 months I will add more pictures here, so we will have another similar video somewhere in December. Thanks for watching, and until the next videos.